Hello, thank you very much for being here today. My name's Catherine and this is So Much Sewing. And on this channel we talk all things sewing, just the usual sewing goodness, patterns, fabrics, mashing the two together, and my adventures along the way. And today what I'm doing is I'm just going to talk you through some firm plans that I have. I'm very aware that I talk about lots of things that I would like to do, and patterns that I've purchased, and things that may happen one day in the future, but these plans are set in stone. I'm definitely doing these. They're items that I need in my wardrobe and they're very seasonally appropriate, and so these are absolute definite plans that you will see here on this channel within sort of 2 to 3 weeks, mark my words. I will first of all tell you what I'm wearing, and this is my cashmerette Alton blouse with the pleated sleeves here and the little elasticated cuff. It's got a keyhole front and ties to it. I've just been out, we've been doing our grocery shopping, and it's a little bit on the chilly side. In a couple of days it's going to be the start of winter, so things are really cooling down now. Actually, I know it's Me Made May, and I haven't been posting on Instagram my Me Made May outfits, but do you know, most days I wear something Me Made. In fact, is it every day? It might even be every day. Not head to toe. For example, I've got some ready to wear leggings on at the moment. They're as old as the hills. They're so old. But yeah, I've got ready-made leggings, but I usually have a shirt, a top, a dress, a jacket, something Me Made on almost every single day. I'm sure of it. I need to actually get motivated and take some photos daily of me and what I'm wearing to post, just so that it proves to me how much I wear my clothes that I make, and it's just a little sort of visual record, I guess. My first plan that I will talk to you about is a very cool sort of cocoony cardigan from a New Zealand designer called Trish Newberry. This is it here. Whoops, there we go. So it's just a very cool shape. I'll obviously put some better pictures up as I'm chatting to you. I'm looking down as I'm chatting, sorry. I just like the way it's got that cocoony shape, and I think Trish Newberry has got some very, very funky designs. I'll put a few more in up here as we're talking so you can see. You might never have heard of Trish Newberry before, but she's got some very funky designs, and she's got lots and lots of different tops and dresses and bottoms and what have you. So I've purchased this Cuddle Up cardigan, and I've also purchased a dress. I've also purchased the delightful dress. I don't think I'll make this one very soon. Looks to me like you need a lighter weight knit for that, so I will probably make that closer to the springtime. But I liked the Empire waistline to it, and I liked those big deep pockets there. I think that will be a very nice shape on my figure. But back to the Cuddle Up cardigan, I just think that will be a really useful throw over handy cardigan to have. I've noticed that a few of the tops I've been making lately have been a bit bat wingy here, and so to have the extra room, I know that the sleeve itself is quite narrow, but it seems to start from about here, so that gives extra room in here for those sort of bat wingy type styles that I've been making. There's something about the neckline that requires a 70% stretch fabric. I don't exactly know what that is yet. I haven't looked into it, but that was the advice given. 70% stretch, which is quite a lot of stretch, and I had hoped to make it out of a merino, but I couldn't find any merinos that had that amount of stretch. So I have purchased some fabric from the fabric store in New Zealand here online, and it's predominantly tencel. It's about 46% tencel, there's 3% cashmere, there's 9% elastine, and the rest of it is, I think it's polyester or nylon or something, which you know, I'm not a huge fan. I don't mind a certain percentage of man-made fabrics in my fabrics. Let me start that again. I don't mind a certain percentage of man-made fabrics in the makeup of the fabric. Sort of up to 25% is I'm okay with, because it, you know, it does help with longevity of wear and can make it, you know, more sort of user friendly to wash and wear. But this has got a really high percentage, pretty much almost 50%, well, probably 50% man-made fibre. So it'll be interesting to see how it actually looks and feels. But for an overgarment, I'm a lot more relaxed about having, you know, a higher percentage of man-made fibre in my fabric. It's apparently the fabric is quite heavyweight, and it's sort of designed for athletic wear and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's, you know, that's what happens when you purchase fabrics online. You're never quite sure how it's actually going to look when it gets here. But the main thing is I wanted a high stretch. I wanted a reasonably heavy wintry weight fabric. And so, yeah, that is going to be on my cutting table sometime very, very soon. Another project that will be on my cutting table very, very soon is a pattern company that I hadn't heard from before. I have seen a particular lady posting on Instagram regularly, and I'm not sure what the connection is there, whether she's part of this company. I don't really know, because I think she posts all sorts of patterns from all sorts of designers. But I've seen her quite a bit recently on Instagram, and I've looked up the company, this particular company, and I'm going to butcher the name. I'm very, very sorry. Oh, okay, I've just got the English translation for it. The English translation is Annie and Her Seams, but the French name is Annie et ses Coutures, not sure. And what I've done is I've purchased this Victoria dress. So it looks extremely snuggly. It also, obviously, you can make it as long as you like or as short as you like. You can turn it into a top. I think that looks very cool. Can you see that that's in a quilted type of fabric? So I think that's going to be a really useful pattern. And you know, I love dresses in the winter time. You just throw them on with your tights and your boots and you're done. One and done dressing. I love it. The style is very straight through the body, and in fact the finished garment measurements are the same for the bust, the waist and the hip. So what I think I'm going to do is sew a size 16 at the bust, and then I'm going to grade out for the hip, because I like a bit more movement around my hips. I don't really like, and I don't really suit a very straight up and down style. So I'm going to grade out, so 16 at the bust, and might go as far as a 20 or a 22 at the hips. Remember, I did that with the Stanton hoodie. I can't remember if I think it was a 16 at the top, and I graded out to a 22 at the hips. Even though my measurements, you know, don't say I should do that, I've just got a very soft belly area, and it spreads out when I sit down, and I just feel like I like extra room around my hips, and a sort of a swing style suits my body shape. So I'm going to make it out, my first version, I'm going to make it out of this. The colour is actually more greeny in real life. It's showing quite blue here, but it's a sort of a deeper colour, and it's more greeny. It's more of a, you know, sort of a sea green, deeper sea green type colour. This is another fabric I purchased online that I don't know, I'm not sure why I purchased it. I bought 3 items from this company. I won't mention who they are. I'm sure that there's nothing wrong with the fabric. It's just the content. It was advertised as 50% merino and 50% or 46% polyester or something. So I just thought, as I said earlier, I'm okay with a certain percentage of man-made fibre. 25% is kind of the maximum I would normally go to, but I thought, well, why not? And it was $10 a metre, $10, which is, you know, $5 US, £5, something around there. So I just thought, well, why not? Merino, it's 50% merino, but honestly, I can't feel any merino in there at all. It feels, I don't really like the way it feels. It looks and feels very fake to me, very man-made. But it's got this sort of a loop back effect on the back, which I think will be quite, I think it'll be, you know, reasonably snugly to wear. So I won't be really sad if this dress doesn't work out, but I think it will. I mean, what can go wrong, right? And it's got loads of stretch, so I think it'll be fine. And I like the colour, nice colour. So that's going to be my first version to trial the pattern. And then if I like the pattern, I will go ahead and make it again in this 100% merino. It's got a decent amount of stretch too, a little bit see-through, but it'll be fine on the body. But it's got a very nice, almost a sort of a ribby, honeycomby type makeup to it. I've shown you this before. I bought this as a remnant. There's 3 meters, I think, in here. I got it for about $25. It was an amazing price. So I've been wanting to make this up into something for a while. So I thought if the Victoria dress works out nicely, then I will make this in it also. If I decide to go a different way, I've been thinking about the Tobin sweater by Cashmerette for this as well. I really like that. I've made it once before, long time ago, before I was on YouTube, and it doesn't fit me any longer. But I really like that. It's got a beautiful big cowl neck on it. I really do like that. So yeah, one or both of those dresses will be on my cutting table pretty soon. In this last plan I will share with you, I am definitely using the fabric. I'm a little bit unsure about what I will make with it, but I think I'm going to make the Fielder dress by Merchant and Mills. I've made that dress before and I absolutely love it, loved it. I wore it a lot. It doesn't fit me any longer and I'd love to recreate it. And so the fabric I have is this wool. Sorry, I've washed it and it's very wrinkled. I haven't ironed it yet. But this is a 80% wool. Oh my gosh, those wrinkles are terrible. Sorry guys. But that's 80% wool and 20% nylon, I think nylon. And I purchased this from Drapers here in New Zealand. It was a remnant. And I purchased 1.8 meters of this remnant for an amazing price. It was $27 for, it's an amazing quality. It feels beautiful, but it's not going to be, it's obviously wool, 80% wool, but it's going to be nice to wear against the skin. And I think it'll look so nice in the Fielder dress with black rib cuff neckline, black rib cuffs around the sleeves. I'll lengthen the sleeves this time to make them full length because they sit about sort of there as per the pattern. What else was I going to say about this? Yeah, so I bought 1.8 meters, but when it arrived, I've got more like 2.8 meters. They must have had, you know, more than they thought when they listed it as a remnant at 1.8 meters. But I was chatting to my sister on the phone, and I told her that I had purchased this, and I showed it to her, and she said, "Oh, that's perfect, I love that." And I said, "Oh, I think it's sold out now," but I checked, and no, they were still listing it as they having a 1.8 meter length. So she absolutely loved it, and so she purchased 1.8 meters as well. She ended up with a little bit more than that, but less than me. I think she got 2.1 or 2.2 meters or something. And she's going to make something out of this too. Now, my sister Sarah is not a big sewer. She has sewn throughout her life from time to time, but it's never been, I don't think, a big passion of hers. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, but I don't think it's been a big passion. But she has taken it up lately. And I mean, she's always had a little Burnett sewing machine floating around, which she gets out from time to time to mend stuff or whatever. And I think she made things for the kids when they were smaller and, you know, the usual. But she recently just decided she wanted to make her dog a coat. She's got two tiny little dogs, a Chihuahua and something twice the size of a Chihuahua, but still tiny as far as I'm concerned. And so she made coats for both these dogs, and I'll put a picture in of Pedro, her littlest dog, the Chihuahua, and the coat that she made is sort of a Sherlock Holmes inspired type thing. And there was talk about making a little cap to go with it, but I don't know if she'll get around to doing that. And it looks like she's done an amazing job. It's the first thing she's sewn for years and years, I believe. So she's done an amazing job. I don't think I would have launched straight into a dog coat like that, because she had to faff around with it a little bit, especially for her larger dog. She had to change the sizings a little bit, and there's bias binding all around it, so you know that was a little tricky for her around the curves. But it looks like she's done an amazing job, and she's keen to get sewing some more items. She's a big supporter of mine, and she always watches my videos, so thank you, Sarah, for your support. And so I guess she's getting a little bit caught up in my excitement about sewing as well. But yeah, she's really keen to make this up, and I'm pretty excited that we're going to make the same fabric. We're actually going to make different designs. Sarah originally was very keen to make this, the Alton, but she's decided that the bias binding could be a little tricky, and because the fabric's, you know, quite thick, and I guess it will fray a fair amount, and she's decided that the bias binding on here might not be the best idea for now and in this fabric. And I don't disagree with her, because I found this is quite a woolly fabric as well, and I found it quite tricky because I find the bias binding on this very narrow. I've made this twice. I've made it into a dress version as well, and I found the bias binding very narrow. So when I make this dress again or top, I will widen the bias binding. It was very, very tricky, and because this is such a loose weave, it just was a bit of a nightmare, and I think I might have accidentally put her off sewing bias binding. So sorry about that, but what Sarah is going to sew is the Avid Seamstress drop shoulder top, and that is a free pattern that you get when you sign up to the Avid Seamstress, and it looks like an amazing nice cute little top, and it looks like a very simple make. She's going to make some changes to it. She's very adventurous making changes, and she's going to lengthen the sleeve and put some elastic in the sleeve hem. But I'm very excited for her to be getting interested and excited in sewing as well, because this is a huge passion for me. So it's really nice to be able to chat to her about it and sort of offer some advice, big sisterly advice, I suppose, on how to get started. So this also will be on my cutting table really, really soon, probably the field address, and yeah, I can't wait to get started. So that's all from me today. I will be showing you my Rosa dress from Tilly and the Buttons. I am still ploughing my way through that. It's been the most involved make of mine for some time. I'm going to do its own video because it has been quite an involved make for me, so I'll do a bit of a review, my thoughts type of video on that, but I'm working my way through that and I hope I will be able to spend some time on it this afternoon. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. My channel is growing and obviously I would like it to grow a little bit more, and so when you subscribe and when you hit the like button, that tells YouTube that I'm worth looking at, and then they will do what they do, you know, make it pop up in your feed for other people. So that's what it's all about. Anyway, thank you again for being here, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.